Have you ever been incredibly excited for a new gadget that seems like a real game changer on paper, only to get it in your hands and realize it's just not all that? Yeah, this is Google's Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and I was really excited for it. But now that I've had it for a while, it's just, well, not all that. Despite its epically long name suggesting otherwise, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is just the second iteration of a book-style foldable from Google. But this one is so drastically different that you can almost consider it a complete revamp and worthy of a different naming scheme. So let's look at it on its own merits. Starting with the hardware closed, you get a 6.3-inch 1080 by 2424 OLED display and a front-facing 10 megapixel camera. On the back, you have a triple camera setup featuring a 48 megapixel wide lens, a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10.8 megapixel telephoto. And of course, you get other niceties like wireless charging, fast wired charging, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, and Google's Tensor G4 processor. And then of course, you have the inner screen, which this time around is a squarish 2076 by 2152 OLED ultra thin glass. That is plastic mixed with shards of glass display. But here's the thing. Most foldables, by the very nature of what being a foldable is, are pretty unwieldy when you close them up. They tend to be thick, heavy, and the outer displays are often not that great. None of that is the case here. This is by far one of the, if not the thinnest foldable phone you can get in the US. It's pretty pocketable, if you're wearing guys clothing that is. Hashtag women's clothing deserve real pockets too. And it's comfortable in the hand. When it's closed, you can reasonably use it like a somewhat thick but otherwise ordinary smartphone. In fact, you could never even open the thing up and be fine. I even like the placement of the power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor. At least on my hand, it falls in the perfect place to hit with my middle finger. The inner display, well, it's still held back by the current limitations of foldable technology. The crease is better than previous generations, but it's still all too visible when you look at it from an angle, and you'll always feel it when touching the screen. I'm glad they went with the hole punch camera, but thanks to the roundish, squarish squircle display, it also gets in the way of content sometimes. And the hinge itself is pretty good with one exception. It's tight enough to hold at any position you want. Loose enough you don't feel like you have to struggle to fold and unfold the device. But from the very moment I've unboxed it, it's also made a noise that's a little disconcerting. It sounds like when you peel plastic off a new device. I don't love that. But still, if hardware were the only question, I'd call it a day and call this an amazing, if not very expensive phone. But that's not the only question. There's also software, and that's where things stumble a bit, because right now, the software just doesn't live up to the hardware. Let's look at how apps are handled. Let's say I've started an app on the outer screen in normal phone mode, but then I decide I'd like a bit more room, so I unfold to get to the inner display. What should happen is that the phone recognizes what you just did and shunt the app over to the inner display and convert it to a format that looks best in the tablet mode. And sometimes that happens, but other times it doesn't. Like Alto's Adventure. It looks great if I start it on the outer display. It looks great if I start it while the inner display is open. But if I start on the outer display and then unfold to the inner display with the app open, it looks terrible. And while Alto's Adventure does look great if you open it directly on the inner display, not every app does. Mario Run, Pokemon Go, and the Jersey Mike's app don't size themselves quite right to take up proper use of the screen. They leave weird barriers around. And you can try to use the experimental feature to resize the apps, but that doesn't always work very well. Other apps that do take advantage of the screen still leave odd spacing in the apps themselves due to stretching to fit, including Google's own Home app. That's sort of the problem with Android tablets in general. Not many apps do a good job of supporting Android tablets. It's a chicken and egg problem. Developers argue they don't support Android tablets because not many people take the option of buying them. But people don't buy them because there aren't that many tablet app options to download. But you know what is an option? Subscribing to the Anoraker channel. The squarish display doesn't always help with this problem either. Watch a video in Netflix, YouTube, or Hulu and you get some pretty big black bars that make you wonder, is this video that much better than just using a regular phone's screen or the front screen on this? And in which case, why even have the inner display at all? Really, I found two good use cases for that inner display. The first is multitasking. Open an app and then do a swipe up and you can drag a second app from the taskbar to the side and you get side-by-side apps. That opens up all kinds of possibilities like watching YouTube while reading the news, or playing a game while checking your email, or destroying your soul by checking on two social networks at the same time. But can we be honest? Do you really need that feature? I mean, I like it because I'm a journalist, so it's handy to have a news feed open here and my email open there, but do you need that option? Really? So maybe the other option is somewhat better, and that's a camera trick. The Pixel 9 Fold Pro has pretty decent cameras. Not as good as the Pixel 9 Pro, mind you, but good cameras. And that's helped by software. And thanks to new AI rolling out with the Pixel 9 series, you can pull off some cute tricks like changing the sky from day to night or adding the person who took a photo into the picture. But do you know what this Fold can do that a regular Pixel can't? Face a giant screen at you while also facing the best cameras at yourself. That's right, this is the ultimate selfie screen picture taking phone. You can see yourself a lot better while using the best cameras to take your own photo. But also, Google threw in a cute trick called Made You Look. Turn that on while taking a photo of, say, your dog or young child, and it will put fun, attention-grabbing animations right on the screen. It doesn't work on my dog, but hey, it's a cute trick that at least shows Google is trying. And that's really the Pixel 9 Pro Fold in a way. It's a foldable that really shows Google is trying. It's trying to make the foldable thing happen. The hardware is better than it was previously, but sometimes trying isn't good enough. Remember, this is an $1,800 phone. For that price, you could buy both a Pixel 9 Pro and a Pixel 9, and I'd argue you'd be better off for it. I don't know that any foldable can justify an $1,800 price tag right now, not to the average person. And so I'm disappointed because I am a tech enthusiast and I wanted so badly to like this phone. I saw the specs, the promises, and the hardware on paper and I thought, this is the one! But alas, it's not. Not this time. We'll see you about next time. And until then, bye.